And Donald Trump pushed those buttons and became president. Territorial disputes among countries. Most Americans don't know what that is, but they think it's probably the South China Sea. They don't know that it includes Beijing's ideas about Taiwan. And so the Democrats are more worried about the environment, the Republicans more worried about these economic issues. China-Taiwan tensions, once again, most Americans not terribly worried. Everybody in Taiwan worried. Everybody in Taiwan thinks it's a central issue. And many people on the mainland feel so as well. They think it's the biggest issue between the United States and China. Okay, we're going to shift a little bit and look at what holds the US and China together. Well, we have a lot of Chinese studying here. An astonishing number, 380,000. That's a lot. That's a lot. Not many Americans go to China to study, but not many Americans go anywhere to study. China's number 5 on the list. How about Taiwan and the United States? A lot of Taiwanese come to study here, and in fact, more last year than in the year before. More than 22,000. And not many Americans come to Taiwan to go to Taiwan to study, but slightly more than in the past. And many universities are working hard through Taiwan programs, through fellowships and things like that, to attract American students. Well, there's investment. In Southern California, this company, BYD, is building electric buses. Haier in South Carolina. Haier used to be the dominant Chinese business in South Carolina. But now Geely is producing Volvos in South Carolina. And BMW, still a German company, is producing cars in South Carolina for export to China. China buys twice as many, or 3 times as many Audis as America. I guarantee you that Germans are paying attention. And new businesses are going into South Carolina. But that's dropping off. In fact, off a cliff. China's investment shot up, and we saw it on the streets of Los Angeles. You saw it here in San Francisco, but it has fallen dramatically. A lot of Chinese are still coming, though. Do we have any Chinese visitors who happen to be in the hotel and want to come and learn about Taiwan? No? Okay. But there are Chinese customers in the hotel as we speak. As we speak. And I was alerted to a flag out front. Did you folks notice? I haven't gone out to take a picture yet, but I'm planning on it. American Airlines uses this hotel, and China Southern is American Airlines' partner. But visitors dropped off slightly. Does that have consequences? Absolutely. Free spending travelers are a great American export. It's a wonderful export. Why? What makes education and travel such great exports? That's your quiz question for the moment. Anyone? Tell me. What do you think? It's a wonderful export. Why?
Good spending. Good spending.
Good spending. The customer comes here. We don't actually send stuff. They come here and pick it up. It's a sweet deal. Education and travel. Now, if we look, I wish we had this kind of poll for Taiwan. And in fact, that might be an interesting project for us to undertake together. attitudes in Taiwan, attitudes in the United States towards each other. But if we look, we see that older people, my age, tend to have an unfavorable view of China. And people my age in China tend to have an unfavorable view of the United States. Younger people tend to have a more positive view. But again, because we're not allowed to ask questions, we don't know quite where things are in China today. I don't know what happened to my slide here, but this image I put here because it's surprising to me. China is my business. And so it's surprising to me the number of ordinary Americans who paid attention to the fact that the Chinese Constitution changed, that the Communist Party had the Constitution changed, so that President Xi Jinping could remain president for how long? As long as he's breathing. Okay. Maybe beyond, I don't know. Anyway, this is the least important of his jobs. And so it's purely symbolic. His most important job is he's in charge of the Chinese military. He's also in charge of the Chinese Communist Party. So this is the least important of those three jobs, but he won't have to give it up. And so this picture showing Mao, who also didn't abide term limits, together with Xi Jinping. Many Americans are concerned about the increasing centralization of authority, the increasing repression on free speech, things like that. I encountered something of this myself. I gave a talk in Beijing in April about documentaries. And this slide almost got through about a documentary that Ted Koppel made in 2008. And I made some changes and it was okay. But this wasn't. I don't know, volume, sound, please. It's okay, you can get the point even without the sound. He's explaining why they went to Chongqing, a city that most Americans had never heard of. That's okay, we can just play it. Yeah. I'll do my best, Ted Koppel. Oh, see, water. Yeah, so he's talking about Chongqing. And you can read the subtitles, right? Okay. So, look at the map. He's explaining that Chongqing is upriver from Shanghai. Most Americans don't know that. It's useful information. But that map is problematic. Why?
No Taiwan.
Yeah, no Taiwan. No Taiwan. Well, okay. This was a fairly high-profile sort of thing. Surely that's not going to be a problem elsewhere. And it's a story about a company that links the two countries. Okay, now I'm trying to go to the next slide. Let me just tap.